Everything begins when no one believes in you. When the world looks at you and sees limits, failure, statistics that are not in your favor. When they say it's too late, too hard, too impossible. That is exactly where something powerful is born. Because it's not about what they expect from you. It's about what you decide to do with what you've been given. Against all odds is not luck, it's not coincidence, it's a choice. It's waking up tired and still moving forward, continuing even with fear, advancing when everything seems to be against you. The truth is simple. Most people quit exactly where you need to keep going. And that is where everything changes. There is an invisible line between those who dream and those who achieve. That line is not talent, it's not money, it's not opportunity. That line is called persistence. Because when everything goes wrong, when doors close, when plans fail, the only thing left is to keep going. And very few do that. Very few have the courage to persist without guarantees. That is why great stories begin in unlikely situations. Because those who win against all odds don't wait for perfect conditions. They create paths where no one else could see a way. They will try to convince you that you are not capable. They will use your mistakes against you. They will point at your flaws as if they are permanent sentences. But there is something no one can measure. Your internal decision. That silent voice that tells you to keep going. That strength that appears when everything seems lost. And that strength doesn't come from the outside. It is built within. Against all odds means ignoring the external noise and focusing on what truly matters. The next step. It doesn't matter how big the challenge is. What matters is that you do not stop. The reality is hard. It won't be easy. It won't be fast. And many times, it won't make sense. You will question if it's worth it. You will doubt yourself. You will think about quitting. But that is exactly where the paths separate. Because those who quit confirm the odds. But those who continue begin to break them. And every small step forward turns into something greater. Every day of discipline builds something invisible, until one day, everyone sees it. Do not expect recognition at the beginning. Do not expect applause while you are still building. Most people only notice the result, never the process. But it is in the process that you transform. It is in the daily repetition, in the silent struggle, in the hard moments, that you grow stronger. Against all odds is not about proving something to the world. It is about proving to yourself that you will not stop. And that changes everything. Fear will be present. Always. But fear is not the end. It is the signal that you are moving forward. Because everything that truly matters requires courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite it. Against all odds means taking the next step without guarantees. Without knowing the outcome. Without support. Because those who wait for certainty never move. Many will start with you. Few will continue. And even fewer will reach the end. Because the path demands consistency. It demands discipline. It demands emotional strength. It's not about doing a lot in one day. It's about not stopping on any day. And that is what builds extraordinary results. Small actions repeated daily create something that seems impossible to those watching from the outside. You don't need to be the best today. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. You only need to keep going. To learn. To adjust. To evolve. Against all odds is a process of constant construction. One day after another. No shortcuts. No excuses. No stopping. Because progress does not happen all at once. It accumulates. There will be days when you feel like you are not moving forward. Days when nothing seems to change. But those are the days when you are closest to growth. Because growth is not comfortable. It requires effort. It requires patience. And those who endure the process earn the result. Against all odds is about resisting when everything inside you tells you to stop. The world respects results. But few understand the price that was paid. The sleepless nights. The failed attempts. The moments of doubt. All of it is part of the journey. And every obstacle you face becomes strength. Every difficulty you overcome becomes experience. And no one can take that away from you. You are not late. You are not behind. You are in your process. And every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Against all odds is about trusting the path even when it doesn't make sense. It is about continuing even when you cannot see the end. Because those who persist eventually arrive. The odds do not define your destiny. They only show what is common. And you were not made to be common. You were made to go beyond. To break limits. To prove what is possible. And that begins with a decision. A simple but powerful decision. Not to quit. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is how many times you rise. Because every fall teaches something. Every mistake shows a better path. And those who learn from it become stronger. Against all odds is using everything that went wrong as fuel to keep going. Success is not an event. It is a process. And that process takes time. It takes dedication. It takes commitment. There is no result without effort. There is no achievement without sacrifice. And those who accept that begin to build something real. There will come a moment when everything makes sense. When every effort is rewarded. When every struggle was worth it. But that moment only comes to those who do not stop. To those who continue when it's hard. To those who believe when there is no proof. Against all odds is not just a phrase. It is a daily decision. It is choosing to continue when no one is watching. It is choosing to believe when no one else does. It is choosing to act when everything seems impossible. And in the end, it will not be the odds that define your story. It will be your decision to never quit.